Evening. Welcome to the August 11th Township Board meeting. Pledge allegiance first. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you. All right, I'm going to open up first with a public hearing, and it'll be the Elba Island Special Assessment public hearing. And if there's anybody here that would like to come up, anything for the public hearing, you can come on up and just state your name. And is it on? I just want to make sure it's on. So anybody want to come on up? And sir, did you have something?
No, I think we're here to listen.
Oh, okay.
I did stop in, read the letter, and got the information from Margie on
Guys, want to come up? Okay, I think this gentleman wanted to say something. Come on up. Just state your name and we'll go by the same 3 minutes thing.
Don Freeze, 28402 Elba Drive. I wanted to thank Derek especially for his active help in this, and all of the board and Mr. Flavin for putting together the assessment and everything. I think it's made it much easier for everybody to come together and get this accomplished. I also want to thank our neighbors who've been very patient, because while we replaced the section of the cul-de-sac again that we had done 24 years ago, just so that the road could be complete and in good shape for everybody's use for the 20 years or so to come, we certainly hope. And we did that in advance so that we wouldn't cause any disruption later. But that leads to disruption at the moment, and everybody's been very patient. I think most everybody down at our end of the street has been down and has also been patient with turning around and whatever they have to do. But we'll have that all complete. And I believe from talking to Derek and talking to Al's Asphalt, they're a little bit delayed with Al's, but I think probably next couple weeks it should be getting started as far as I know. So I just wanted to thank everybody for their parts in this and the neighbors for their parts in it too.
Okay, Sean, thanks.
Thank you.
Anybody else would like to speak for the public meeting? We're good? We're good? Anybody? We'll close it then?
Close it, yeah.
Okay. At this time, 7:02, the public meeting will be closed, and now we have some add-ons for the action item that I'll read. I want to add item number 6, resolution to approve special assessment roll for Elba Island. I'm sorry, excuse me. I need a second for that.
Second.
Okay, Kevin, I guess we'll do that. All in favor of adding action item number 6, say aye. All
Aye.
opposed? Okay. Addition number 6 I'm going to put down, and what we're going to do is let's make this number 1/2 instead of number 6. Do we have to revote? I guess it's just clerical. I'm going to make it 1/2 so these people don't have to stay for the whole meeting. So that bumps them up to number 1, actually, but I can't make them number 1, and we talked about that before. So I'm going to go 0.5 will be Elba Island Special Assessment. And action items, I'll be first on the list for the people in the audience. Okay, I'm going to need a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
So moved.
Need a second?
Second.
And all in favor as amended, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay, motion carried, so that is all set, making it number 0.5 or 1/2, whatever you want to call it. I'm sorry. All right, tonight, we don't have any presentations. I'm going to ask for public comment first from the audience for them being here, and then we'll go, Elena, to you. Does anybody in the audience would like public comments, a 3-minute? That's on anything. Not on agenda items, whatever you like to talk about. Is there anything? Anybody got anything to say? Kyle, come on up.
Hello, Kyle DeBose, 21719 West River. I've been here a few times on the master plan. Just wanted to reiterate once again to encourage you all to vote against it, and if not, to commit to at least some kind of amendment to the master plan around some of the issues we've brought up, including the typos in the history. So I will leave it at that tonight. I think about 310 folks have signed on to the petition now, 250 last meeting when I was with you all. So I'll report back to them how it goes tonight. Appreciate you all. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Kyle. Anybody else for public comment? Okay, none from the audience, and we'll go to the emails, please.
Okay. Dennis Reckley, please vote no and send the plan back for the modest, sensible changes we've been asking for. The Planning Commission serves at the pleasure of the Township Board and is duty bound to do as directed by the board. Holland, Michigan. Judy Mega, good evening. I write as a citizen concerned about potential changes to the master plan. It appears that those who do know about the proposed changes / deletions from the prior plan are against them. Many people probably have no idea what is being voted on, and that the Planning Commission is not hearing or not paying attention to the opinions of the people who took the time and effort to speak up. Do a few members of a commission really have more power than the township elected officials? And more importantly, the people who live here and pay taxes? I would hope not. I urge you to vote no on the plan as currently proposed and send it back with a few suggestions for the changes the public has been asking for, specifically those critical items that were removed that, as outlined in the petition signed by over 220 people or more, help lower housing costs, which are outrageous currently, expand options for younger families and seniors, and ensure that public input remains part of the zoning process. Let the people that took the time to learn and give input on this know that their opinions matter. If you do vote yes, and I hope you don't, please consider sending it back to the Planning Commission for a minor amendment. The board has authority over the Planning Commission, and there is no harm in asking them to reconsider those provisions that were stripped out without public knowledge or consent. A small amendment could do wonders to keep and build a better Groseal. Judy Mega, Lafayette. Nick Colella, GI board members, please vote no and send the plan back for the modest, sensible changes we've been asking for. Nick Colella, Chicory. The master plan vote as it impacts options for senior living. Please vote no and send the plan back for the modest, sensible changes we've been asking for. If you vote yes, commit to sending back to the Planning Commission soon for a minor amendment. Ken Julia, East River Road. Vote no and send it back for the adjustments that we all agreed upon. If you vote yes, count on having things come up for future adjustments. Julianne Cohn, East River Road. Please vote no, or if yes, send back for changes. Lisa Rogers, Sunnybrook. Please vote no and send the plan back for the modest, sensible changes we've been asking for. If you vote yes, commit to sending it back to the Planning Commission for a minor amendment. To the members of the Groseal Township Board, you've all had a lot on your plate since being sworn in, and many of us recognize the work it takes to step into leadership. Unfortunately, the time has come for you to intervene in the master plan process. Over the past 6 months, a handful of voices on the Planning Commission have rewritten significant portions of the 2024 draft, largely out of the public. We, the undersigned residents and supporters of Groseal, respectfully urge the Township Board to reject the current draft of the master plan and send it back to the Planning Commission for revision. The Planning Commission's version does not reflect the values, priorities, or vision expressed by more than 2,000 residents who participated in last year's public engagement process. Instead, it weakens community-driven ideas through a process that lacked transparency and meaningful public input. We call on the Township Board to reject the current master plan as presented on June 30th, direct the Planning Commission to restore the majority of the original community-informed draft, ensure a transparent process that honors the time, energy, and insight provided by Groseal residents. Our community deserves a master plan that faces today's challenges with integrity and keeps our options open for the future, not one that narrows our path and ignores our voices. Alice Wu, Sarah Lane. I urge the board to vote no on the master plan for reasons stated below. If you vote yes, make sure there is a procedure in place so that individual items may be changed. Yes, the commission have spent long hours working on this new addition, but even some commissioners expressed concern, but they voted for it anyway. At the meeting, the priest from Sacred Heart presented a plan for senior housing and senior care facility on their land. He was told to file the proper paperwork and go from there. There is something that should be included in the master plan. We desperately need this for our community with the population aging. To not make people have to go through more red tape. To date, no changes have been made since the last meeting. We need more housing or condos for seniors and young professionals, more smaller lots, so more affordable housing for young families. The 2024 was a bit better. We are unique. Let's see our township thrive. I strongly urge the board to vote no. Send it back to the committee. Christine Davis, Boucher Road. Tim Anderson, Macomb. I am requesting that the board rejects the master plan in its current form and send it back to the planning commission for refinement. First and foremost, the planning commission basically discounted the input from over 2,000 residents, not to mention the Smith Group, who was hired to help draft the master plan. Also, I am sure you are aware that the edits, and they were voluminous, take place behind closed doors with just the planning commission officers participating in these discussions. The hollowed out draft was then presented to the full body for approval after all edits took place. While I think the commission generally does a great job, in this case I feel they are being reluctant to any significant change and happy with the status quo. Lastly, all along, the view was that the master plan approval was not on a deadline and took whatever time is necessary. Therefore, there is no need to rush this through. I am sure the Planning Commission is well aware that the master plan has been on the agenda twice and both times removed from an action item to a discussion item. I have seen no evidence that the Commission intends to make any changes unless they are compelled to do so. Again, I ask you to reject this draft in its form. Dear GI board members, it's difficult to stay as up to date on all township matters as I would like to. Over the past several years, I have come to greatly respect and admire the voice of former trustee Debussy and have found myself often turning to him for his perceptions and opinions as I try to better understand certain issues and formulate my own conclusions. Once again, I find myself wholeheartedly supporting his recommendations when it comes to the master plan. This plan is critically important and will serve as the community's guideline for how we seek to attain the kind of community Groesville residents wish to see for many years to come. Now is the time to be sure that this plan accurately reflects a complete and current consensus of community interests. I strongly urge that tonight this board vote no and send the plan back for the modest, sensible changes asked for. Should you choose to vote yes, please commit to sending it back to the Planning Commission soon for minor amendment. Deb York, Bellevue Road. Renee Croy, Blackmore. Hello, I really appreciated the opportunity we had as a community to participate in the survey last year. Please vote no and send the plan back for the modest, sensible changes we've been asking for. However, if you vote yes, please commit to sending it back to the Planning Commission soon for a minor amendment. Send the initiatives back to the Planning Commission. Brett Robke. That's it.
Okay, I just wanted to say, the reason some of the people, let's back up a second. Some of the people know that when you have public comment, we could have like 50 in the audience that want to come up, and there's rules under the Open Meetings Act and case law in the state of Michigan that shows that the supervisor or person running the meeting has the ability to say, well, we're going to hear 5 on the yes side, 5 on the no side. I just think, I wanted to hear all these. I think it's important. I think there's a concern here that maybe, I'm not going to say I didn't see, I saw it, but I wanted to let them give their time and their thoughts on this master plan issue. It's gone back and forth, but that is the reason I just let them, get their opinions out. I think it's important that we do this. It's not overwhelming the amount of people we had, but so anyway. Thank you for that.
Couple new people in the audience since we opened it. Opened the.
Does anybody else want to comment?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yep.
2 other people came in. We still have public comment. If anybody it's still public comment time. If anybody wanted to come up, please feel free. Thank you for letting me know they came in. And nobody? Okay. All right, so we're going to end public comment there. And Kevin, if you'd like to do the consent agenda, please.
Good evening. I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda 25-047.
Second.
Thank you. Which consists of the Township Board of Trustees minutes from the meeting on July 28th, 2025, and the check register dated through August 8th, 2025. And that is the
Whole thing.
2 items on the consent agenda.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Kevin. All in favor of approving the consent agenda?
Aye.
All opposed? Consent agenda approved. Okay, let's start the action items, and we're gonna, once again, we've changed to make the first one the Elba Island Special Assessment. And Kevin, if you'd like to start that, please.
I move to approve action item .5, Elba Island Drive, Private Road Special Assessment District. Vote. We need a second.
Second.
Thank you. And Derek, would you like to?
I would just say, the motion should read, adopt the resolution confirming the special assessment role as provided for in the, the August 11th Township Board packet.
Thank you.
Okay, so Derek, what we're doing tonight is we're approving the special assessment resolution.
Correct.
That, oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
The resolution basically sets the assessment role. The assessment role is what each individual property owner will be paying on their taxes for the improvements on the private section of Elba Island
Okay.
Drive.
Any questions from the board for Derek? Nothing? Okay. So we'll vote on that right now then for action item .5 for the Elba Island Special Assessment Resolution. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay, motion carried. All it's approved. Thank you very much. All right, we're good. Thank you. Okay, we're going to go to action item number 1. That'll be the Centennial Farm. And that would have been Jameson's, but what I'll do is I'll pull this up and read it for Jameson and Mark have been excused for tonight's meeting, so I'm sorry. I should have said that in the beginning.
You want me to read it, Joe? I've got it.
Yeah, go ahead. If you have it pulled up, I'm just pulling it up on my phone. Go ahead.
So the Centennial Farm window replacement is a recommendation for the Recreation Commission to approve the renovation of 14 windows at Centennial Farm, specifically the Red Barn project, and it has been budgeted for.
I'll second that. Okay. Zaid, if you just come up here for a second, if there's any questions from, or you can just have a seat a second. I'm going to ask the board members if they have any comments on this. I think there's a few that do. So,
Oh, excuse me, I want to make sure I understand you.
yes,
There is discussion normally following a motion.
yes, this is it right now.
Okay.
You're first. Okay. You're first.
Put my head into it. I've looked at this and tried to understand it, and it's my basic understanding that the process here was adhered to as appropriate by law. You sent out some kind of notice, and you only got one bid back.
Would you please speak? Zaid, thank you.
Yes, that's correct. We got one bid back.
I'm restive on that, ill at ease. What stops someone from picking up the telephone and calling somebody? I'm just off the top of my head, why not call Wallside Windows and see what they have to say?
Well,
Is there anything against the procedures that stops you from using that initiative?
no, there's not, but I mean, I just went through the process that we had to, the 30-day, well, we had it out for 30 days. It was put out in early June, and then it was put in the News Herald, and it was put online. And then, we just received one bid for it. There you can reach out to companies, but looking at Baird and Lawler, it is a company that we've used before, specifically for window replacement too. So I kind of trusted them and their quality of work as well. So
That's point one. Regarding the quality of work, I took a look at those I think I've got them here. There's some numbers that identify the window that's being used. It's an Anderson. Double hung Anderson is what I see.
Double pane.
Yeah.
double pane, but
Right.
double hung, yeah. Double hung, double pane, yes.
For a horse.
Yes.
I happen to have a guy who shoe my horse who's been around for over 50 years. He knows horses. I'm not claiming he's an expert or anything, but he's extremely successful. He literally has acquaintance in the horse community all over this country. He knows horses. I asked him about this, and his basic point were two. The cold per se does not cause a horse discomfort. They have a coat. But if there's a wind, if there's a breeze, that's where you have a problem. You don't need 2 panes of glass to stop the wind. That saves money. As far as the summer's concerned, get a fan. Put it up in the roof. The reason I'm saying this is because I feel a need to be a bit conservative in our expenditures. I foresee in the future that need will serve us well, okay? So I'm basically suggesting that we ask that you make some phone calls to some other window people and get another opinion, another quote, if we can legally do that at this stage of the
We
process.
can, yeah, if that's not what you feel, if you're asking procedurally, that can happen, if that's what you're asking. Well, we're gonna vote anyway, but I'm saying, he's asking, can we do this? Because the bid already went out and he has
See an
the,
invoice here.
yeah, you can do that, Bill,
Okay.
that's, because it's been done, that's why, so I'm just letting you know that.
So can I just point out, though, I just want to make sure we're all clear on this. Zaid followed the process. So if we want him to deviate from the process or do something different, I just don't want anybody to think he did not do what the process outlined for him to do. With respect of horses, Zaid, how many horses have you been around in your life?
Decent amount.
Have you been around barns a lot or anything to that effect?
I couldn't say I'm experienced with barns now.
Okay, so I get to Bill's point. I understand what he's saying because I said the same thing in the sense of I have no issue with what you have here in your invoice. It seems very reasonable to me, but I wouldn't use the premise that, you need to keep the horses warm because they get pretty fuzzy. And if you're somebody who rides during the winter, normally and nobody needs this detail, but nonetheless, you're going to shave your horse because you don't want them to sweat to death because you'll never get them warm again, etc. So you throw a blanket on them, right? So for the most part, these horses are kept pretty warm. They should be fine. But to the other point is, anybody that's ever cleaned a stall in the wintertime, and I've cleaned a stall or two in the wintertime, and specifically in the Red Barn, it's not a bad thing that we as owners of this facility make sure that it is properly cared for. Now, if everybody has an issue with double hung, double glassed windows, I'm sure that it's something that can be put back out for bid. If everybody thinks they're going to get a much better price and somebody else will bid on it. But Zaid did put this out for bid. Only one company bid on it. So he's doing his due diligence. He's got his budget that covers this. And, if we want to ask him to do something different, I don't know how appropriate it is to suggest he calls wall side window, is just my point.
Yeah, no.
Do I have opportunity to
Hold
respond to
on.
that?
Well, hold on. Let's do this. Let's let Mickey and then Kevin would like to.
Yes, please.
Kevin would then, let's go in order and then we can come back like a rebuttal.
Hey, first of all, thank you for doing that.
Yeah, no problem.
Generally, from a bid perspective, I like that you don't go back because it keeps the bid integrity. Like, when you start to talk to people one-off and you talk to this company and not that company, you don't have the same integrity of the bid. Also, my horse's name was Okio Barbob, and we had a barn. And I also have had houses where I've had, my starter house had Wallside, my house now has Anderson and Pella. I know in our barn, we had a Tennessee Walker who kicked down a concrete manger. She would take out a single pane window without even blinking. And so I think it's more than the warmth. It's also, they're a lot more durable. You're cleaning the stall, you got stuff you're swinging around, you got the horses bucking and doing stuff. So in our barn, we did have nicer windows and they last a lot longer. So even in my house, they may cost more, but they're gonna last a lot longer. And so for the durability, I appreciate that. I did just have one last question though. We get asked to approve different things on the buildings, but what I was wondering is, I think you might be looking at the entire building. And so I'm wondering, is the plan to eventually do some more to update that building?
Yes, potentially. I'm taking it step by step. This is a budget line that I budgeted out the beginning of the fiscal year
Okay.
specifically for this project. So it's not coming out of our maintenance and repairs budget line as far as for the farm. There's a specific budget line for window repair.
Okay.
Yes.
Hey, what kind of windows do you have in the big horse barn with the riding arena?
We have double pane windows.
Okay, that's what I thought.
So we had some of them. I had 2 replaced by Baird and Lawler. One of the issues was we had a bird fly through a single pane window and it
Yeah.
went through pretty easily and broke, so we had to replace those windows. And then we had volunteers replace the other ones. We purchased the materials and they were able to replace the windows in the
Okay.
white barn. Yes.
Yeah, okay. That's it for me, but thank you.
Kevin.
Hello, Zaid.
Hi.
Thank you for coming to tonight's meeting
No
to
problem.
discuss this. I appreciate that. First of all, I will say that you and I have talked about this. You did follow, as far as I can read, you followed the policy and procedure on how to put that out, put out a bid or get a proposal, so that was followed. What's confusing is, if you read the policy and procedure, there are different levels of policy, different actions you have to take depending on the price or the amount of money you're going to spend. And if a manager, township manager, or a department manager goes out for a bid, and correct me if I'm not saying this correctly, it suggests, or it says that the manager of the department will get 3 bids for whatever it is. And they can be verbal bids, the next level of purchasing, the next cost amount. I think they ask for written bids. So there are different, it's a little confusing. So in your instance, it's put out and only one person or one company bid.
So, do you want to take that one, Derek?
Yeah, you are correct. There are a variety of different steps. So I think it's below $2,000 or
Right.
$1,000. It's just basically verbal bids, and then above that is written bids, and then the next step, the highest step, is your formal sealed bids, which is what, in this situation, based upon the purchase price, it warranted. So under a sealed bid format, obviously you would prefer to have more bids, but you don't really have control over how many actually submit, versus the lower levels, you actually go out and actively solicit at least 3 of them. So hopefully that clarifies it.
That does. And the reason I bring that up is the process is important. And if it's important to have 3 bids for spending, under $5,000, I think it's important to have multiple bids, let's say a minimum of 3 bids for spending $12,800, $830, which is a process issue. So, again, what you did was correct. The process going forward, I think we need to look at it as a board, look at the process and see if we can clarify that, maybe go through the policies and procedures and clarify that a little bit more. In this situation, and the former past boards have talked about this too. Common sense tells you, if a homeowner, many homeowners, if they're looking at windows, will, get bids from multiple vendors. And then they choose the vendor for, depending on what's offered, that sort of thing. I think in this case, it makes sense in a common sense kind of way to a taxpayer to have multiple bids. And what I'd like to see happen is that you go back and seek other bids for this. The other question is, and Mr. Heil brought it up, we're installing Anderson windows in a horse barn, which my question is there a less expensive, do you know the dollar price per window?
$916.
Okay, so $916 per window. I'm wondering if there's a less expensive window that would provide the same benefits. The other thing is, I think I've noticed in the barn, some of the windows had mesh screen. Well, I'm talking about something so that if the something gets thrown, or, it is a barn and there are animals in the barn. So maybe there's a way to protect the window with some kind of screens. The other part of that is too, there are no screens on the barn doors either. So a variety of issues there. And again, do we need to spend $916 per window to do that? Has the barn been painted and I know it's been a process going on as far as updating the
Various things at Centennial Farm. Yes, it hasn't been painted yet. And the price also includes, it's an older building, so there's certain things that need to be done to it relative to like the White Horse Barn. It's probably why the cost is a little higher per window. I totally get it. I totally understand as far as wanting single pane, but
I'm not suggesting single pane. I'm just saying, it makes sense for the taxpayers to see if we can't find something that is good as in quality. Anderson are among the top of the line windows, and since it is a barn, maybe we should be maybe we can find something that's less expensive. Maybe we can find windows that are not breakable, security, for that sort of thing. So maybe we go back to the drawing board and see if we can come up with something that's a little bit less expensive, or get multiple bids, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, before we go back to Bill, I just want to say I was watching the rec commission meeting.
Yes.
You guys were going over this?
Last Thursday.
Yeah, it was just a week ago or so.
About 4 or 5 days ago.
Yeah.
4 days ago.
Yeah, good point. I don't have a problem with the bid. I don't have a problem. You guys looked into it. I don't know anything about barns. I don't know anything about horses. So I have to rely on somebody else to tell me what they think would be best for that, for the heat in the summer and the cool in the winter. And I do know that there's a difference in windows that do that. Now, I don't know how that pertains to horses. Bill obviously knows a lot more than I do. I know virtually nothing on horses. But I have to rely on the commission, I have to rely on you. I think moving forward, I don't, here, let's back up a second, just to clear this up. So when you went to see the kind of window and you worked with whatever you put the RFP out, or it'd be an RFP, not a Q, you put in there what you wanted.
Yes. And just to make it clear, it wasn't just because of the heat or the cold. It was of the durability as well. Like I said, we had to replace windows where a relatively, not a very large bird went through the window and was able to break the window.
So there's different variables, obviously, that you looked
Yes.
into before you did this.
Yes.
And so I have to rely on somebody besides me in all these different issues that we have within the township, because I'm certainly not an expert at all these issues. And I'm not ashamed to say I'm not an expert at all these issues. So I'm just saying I don't have a problem with that. And maybe as we move forward, we'll look at some things, but you needed durability, you needed, better cooling, better heat.
Safety too.
I mean, safety, there's probably a whole lot of things that I don't even know.
Yes.
So anyway, that's just my opinion on this. But Kevin, maybe if you want to look at I get it when you say the 3 bids and you only get 1. Should you go out and get 2 more? Does it mean 3 in the policy? It's not contradictive, I don't think, but it could be more clear. How about that? There's some
Absolutely,
things-
that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
I don't
It-
have a problem with that at all.
It could be more clear.
Yeah, I have no-
I wish it were more clear, and when we go and redo or review policies and procedures, we can look at that. And the other issue too is the information that, I didn't see what you were looking for in the windows, the RFP. I apologize, I didn't see that. The other thing, my other thought is, if you do have windows where birds are flying through them, I believe that the Conservancy put up a special window, or some kind of screening for windows that help the birds know that it's a window versus the sky. And it kind of stops the reflection, so you might have less birds going through it. The other thing is, because this is in a area where you do have equipment, animals, people, is it possible to get a window that is not breakable, that can't be broken? And is there going to be some kind of wire mesh on the inside to protect the window? So all of those things you may have already done, I don't know. I appreciate your point of view. I think, though, as a practice, and again, this has been an issue in other places, the township gets a lot of single bid responses, single bid responses. I think it's important that we, as a township, work, and looking at the cost of things, go back out and seek other vendors. Not that this isn't an excellent vendor. This is an excellent vendor, does excellent work. It's just, if I were doing this in my home, and many people, they would also get multiple bids and evaluate it. So, thank you.
I could just add, it is standard business practice to put the bid out and count it. Like, you can't control how many bids you get back. And so at Ford Motor Company, at GM, when we would bid something out, if it came back and 2 said, I don't want to bid on it, I can't give it at a reasonable cost, that counts. So I just saw that frequently.
This is tempered glass also, isn't it, Zaid?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so that's very, very strong glass. So I'm assuming that's probably not what's in there currently.
No.
Right.
Okay. Bill, we said we'd come back to, do you need?
I need to just to explain a few things. We all bring to our thinking what our past experience has. I've had that horse. I'm no expert on horses. I mean, I go to people I think are pretty smart. the horse we've had since 2008. So what's 2008 from 2015? And add 2 years, that's how old the horse is. It happens to be a Tennessee Walker. She's big, she's 17 hands, so she could kick a wall and break a glass, I suppose. It just happens that I've only heard her kick the wall once in the whole time I've had her there. I talk to her and she does what I ask her to. I swear to God, I think she's go. I think that what I want to do is keep the wind off the horse and keep the place ventilated in the summer. I've run a brush through that horse's hair more often than I can remember in the spring. And let me tell you, they have a lot of hair. We have some testimony to that before. It keeps them warm. I used to worry about it. I don't anymore. I don't believe that you need a window like that to keep the horse warm. If you keep the wind down with the door shut, you're going to accomplish the heat problem. I don't know how long. I have a vinyl window that the window slides back and forth instead of up and down. It's about 5 years old. It's working fine. I have not been sitting around talking to anybody claiming how many years one will last over the other. In terms of horse behavior, my horse is the only horse there. It's got nobody to fight with, so maybe that's why they don't kick the wall. But I'm also in favor of 3 bids, and I can tell a story. I'm famous for telling stories. I'm not trying to tell another one for no point this time. I used to insure businesses, and I was sitting in an office of some contractor. And there was a big square office there with 4 of their more executive level people. And they sort of would talk to each other with a distance that you and I are from each other. Hey, Zaid, did you get that bid out yet for ABC Corporation? Hell no. What? Why that? We've bid that thing for the last 5 years, and they always give it to the same guy. We spent $5,000 to put out a bid. We're behind $25,000, and we're not going to do it anymore. By making sure we have at least 3 bids, we tell the community we're going to look at them and give them a chance, and we'll get the bids. We'll not only save money, we'll learn. Somebody else might come out with something new. The last time I told this story was about a Motorola police radio in Dearborn Heights. Lo and behold, I've been reading I read the newspaper since then. Motorola still makes police car radios, and they're coming out with another new radio. I had to chuckle at that. So there's a reason for a difference in quality if you can justify it, but it's a balancing act. I want this township to be aware that they need to get 3 bids. We don't need a succession of threshold bids times 2 to get us to what we need and things like that. We need it because we're going to need to be careful in the future, and I want to start the precedent now.
I think we're in agreement, Bill, that and I do agree with Kevin that we definitely need to look at that and the verbiage. So, okay, we'll get the vote on this, and I think we're in all agreement though that we will look at that. So, action item number 1, contract approval for Centennial Farm window replacement. Just because there's some separate on the board here, I'm just going to ask you separately. Doesn't matter if it's a roll call, but I'm just going to ask you to say separately. Bill, how do you vote?
Are we voting to table it or approve it?
No, we're voting to approve it.
No.
Mickey?
Aye.
Joe? Aye. Kevin?
No.
And Margaret, you last.
Aye.
Okay, the motion does carry, but we are going to look into the 3 for sure.
Better than your horse.
Joe, what does that mean? We're going to look into the 3?
The 3, let's bring that up. We'll meet. Let's look at the policies, and we'll see if the board will have a discussion item, and we'll see if the board wants to change it, if there's some ambiguity in the policy about, because he got 1, not he, Zaid, but anyone gets 1, do we say that means you got to go out and get 2 more, even if it's by phone? Something like that.
I read the policy and I just pulled it up. It says under sealed bids, which Derek, this was sealed? Yeah. Because of the price of it? Yeah. So if 1 bid is received for the project, The clerk, prior to opening the bid, shall discuss with the township manager if the singular bid should be opened. It's the discretion of the manager whether the bid shall be opened.
Okay. Well, my point, Margaret, there was I'm in favor of any kind of discussion that will make things clearer, better, and easier for all of us.
I don't
That's all.
disagree. I'm not seeing the number of bids. That's all I'm
Okay.
saying is, so if we need to like update something, I'm not seeing that in there, but
Okay.
I didn't go through it completely.
Well, the issue is that we voted, we didn't get multiple bids, so we don't know whether we got the lowest bid or the highest bid. And-
Right, we voted yes to have him go ahead with the purchase of the Anderson two-pane windows for the barn. That's correct.
Right, we followed the current policy.
Your comment is put it on as a future discussion item
Yeah, we
for
can- yeah.
review
Review,
of that
yep.
policy to determine whether there's interest in amending it.
Yes, that's correct.
Well,
Is that what a yes
As-
vote is, what you just said?
No, the yes vote is for him to purchase the windows, period.
That's what
This
I
was
thought.
brought up by Kevin, and I just happen to agree with him. If there's an issue of ambiguity, then that we'll absolutely look at that. I have no problem with that.
well, no, I think what I'm saying is that the township policy requires 3 bids for when you spend, let's say, under $5,000. Why wouldn't you require 3 bids if you're spending $11,000 or $12,000?
We do, if 3 don't come in, I mean, do you chase more down? I guess that's what we're gonna look at. That's exactly what we're gonna look
And
at.
as the treasurer, I see, I'm looking at it from the amount of money being spent too. So,
Okay.
thank you.
All right. Okay, next one on the list, we're going to, action item number 2, approval of camera purchase, Township Hall and Rec Department. This is, I'll explain this, I'm gonna read this. I'll do the reading on this, but I'm gonna explain why it's both, and it's separated, so you'll see when we get done here, why I'm gonna do this, or Jameson could have done both too, so either way. The Groseal Township Board hereby authorizes the purchase and installation of cameras at Township Hall and Rec Department pool area of a total cost of $5,196. Can I get a second? Okay, thank you. And I'll explain in there how that's separated. The vendor EOS Solutions is the same camera provider that has provided cameras service to other camera deployed within the community. EOS is preferred vendor to ensure continuity of operation. Funding of these cameras will come from the Recreation Department and Township Hall building account. The purpose of these cameras are to provide coverage for sensitive areas. There have been incidents of damage to township property, all these locations where camera coverage would have been beneficial to assist in finding the responsible party. Coverage at the pool can also assist with emergency response in case of incident at this location. Camera feeds will be piped into the PD, the police department, dispatch, and will work with existing system already utilized at the township cameras. So what I want to explain is, what I did, and I don't remember the year I started it, but as the police chief, I believe there were 7 areas that I cameraed, and they're all public areas. We were short in putting it in certain areas, and I think it was definitely time that we looked at this. And as you saw maybe a few meetings back, we had cameras that were set up to be put at the Centennial Farm. We had some issues at Centennial Farm, and cameras would have been extremely helpful at the time. And now we got those set up, and those were under forfeiture for the police department. And obviously they go right to the police department. This other one, I talked to Zaid, and we had some incidents at the pool. And for our risk management and for our liability issues, I thought we were way behind. Most pools are videoed somehow. They have surveillance video on it. Now, it's just not if something bad occurs, but obviously if there's a drowning or a near drowning, we need to know what happened. And you know, we need to be transparent in the situation. So we thought that for everyone's safety, for everyone's, I guess mostly it is for your safety and knowing how you feel when you go to public areas. Once again, there is no privacy in a public area. You can't, there's a saying, you can't trespass the eyes. It's in a public area, you are what you are, and you know, you go anywhere today and everyone's on camera, so it's not like we're spying on you. But we're separating it. The first one, if you see the bid that was in your packets, all of you, the bid from the fire department, I apologize. The bid from the rec department comes in. The rec will be handling that, and what we did is I had the gentleman, Derek and I got together. We thought the township hall and the entry door was very important, just in case, you know, we have issues out there. We needed it here. We're way behind in security for our buildings here, and I thought it was time that we did this. Derek and I got together. We got EOS, and the reason we picked EOS, and we're just talking about this now. EOS was the vendor picked when I did all the public areas. It all goes to the police department. We've had no issues with them. We've always had good pricing, and they were the best pricing in the beginning. So we've continued with EOS because they were a picked vendor before, and this just adds to our system. And this is the reason. It's not, obviously there's other security outfits out there. It's not a sole pick. I mean, it's not where we can't find anyone else. But we've used EOS, and they were picked, and that's the reason why we went with them. So I'm asking you tonight for Zaid also. Did you have anything to say, Zaid, for this at all? Is there anything you need to? Yeah, go ahead. If there's something you'd like to say, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to agree with Joe just as far as the liability purposes. There was a city in southeast Michigan where there was a child that drowned, I believe, a few months ago, and one of the parents had mentioned that it was one of the lifeguards or someone on duty wasn't watching. There was an issue, and the mother, you know, was screaming to help, and then they looked back at the video and they found out the mother was, I believe, not paying attention or reading a book or something like that. So I think this is why we need a camera like this, especially somewhere like a pool. It takes out all of those kind of issues and the liability from the township. So I think it's pretty important. So
Thank you, Zaid, for that. And
May I ask a question?
Oh, yeah, certainly. Was Zaid? Go ahead.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
So the camera is one thing. Is there software that would be able to tell, that would inform the person watching the screen that somebody is in distress? I believe there is.
I don't believe so. I just know with the camera, it's a 90-day loop, and it's going to be feeded right to the police department.
Would you please check to see if there is software that would help the lifeguards or the guards and whomever is watching the screen have some kind of chime or noise that says, with AI, those kind of things I believe are possible, and I've, again.
I'll call when I tell the vendor I'm not going to say we passed it tonight, but let's say this passes tonight. So whatever I give him tomorrow, I'll ask him. I'll see if there's anything.
Well, the question is this, to use that kind of software, is this the right kind of camera to use?
So the software would entail being able to inform the lifeguards on duty?
Well, the software helps the people, the guards, and where is the feed going to go?
Well, the guards don't ever see the feed.
Well, I'm
It
saying.
goes to the police station.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what I'm suggesting is that there's software that will send out a chime or a noise and will inform whoever is watching the screen that something is amiss or a problem or somebody's in distress. And if this camera,
I've never heard of that, Kevin. Once again, I've just never heard of it. I can ask the gentleman. I've just never heard of a camera being able to delineate the difference between playing in the pool and having
Yeah, I mean,
a
I think
distress
with
moment.
well,
the lifeguards
if you go to New York City, there are cameras that.
They do that?
And, yeah, well, I mean, there are cameras, they can hear gunshots. They tell the dispatcher that there are gunshots heard, and they dispatch somebody.
Yeah, I mean, I understand. I think that's in more high-frequency areas though.
But what I'm saying is though, if this is possible,
I'll ask.
perfect.
Yeah, no,
Thank you.
that's it. I'll ask tomorrow, and I'll let them know which way we voted.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you.
We need to be careful too, because the police aren't acting as lifeguards, and so, you know, they're doing their regular duties, right? And they may have cameras at different places, but they're not watching them 24/7 like you would be as a lifeguard.
Yeah, we don't
So-
have specialized people we hire to sit at a bank of cameras. You're
Right.
correct. I just want to make
Right.
sure that's clear so
I
you
just
understand.
want to set
you understand that.
expectations
Mm-hmm.
properly.
I think the other point is too, we have one lifeguard at the big pool, and is it the same lifeguard as for the kiddie pool?
Two,
So one's,
At a
yeah,
time.
so you have one at the big and one at the kids, right? Yeah, so you really don't want them taking their eyes off a pool either. Correct, yeah. I just want to confirm that.
okay. Is everybody good? Anybody else have anything to say? Would you like to vote on this? We good?
Yep.
Any other comments, concerns? Okay. Approval of camera purchase. We're going to do this as one group again. Approval of camera purchase for Township Hall Recreation Department. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Motion carried. Thank you. Number 3, approval of air conditioning unit DPS. Kevin, do you have that one? Let me see what we got here.
I have the data, I'm sorry. Just taking a moment
Good with
to.
that?
I move that
Okay.
we approve air conditioning unit for DPS. The contingent upon a recommendation by the Groseal DPS Commission, contingent upon a recommendation by the Groseal DPS Commission, the Groseal Township Board hereby approves a contract with low bidder Temperature Control to replace the air conditioning unit at the DPS garage office at an expensive $8,900. The existing unit is 25 years old, has failed, and is unrepairable. Bids were solicited, and Temperature Control was the low bidder.
Did we get a second on this to start with?
Don't think so.
I'll second it.
Okay, Bill, thank you.
Thank
Go ahead,
you.
I'm sorry, Kevin.
How many bids did you get, Derek?
3 bids.
3 bids. Thank you, Derek. We're replacing a unrepairable air conditioning unit.
Correct, yeah. And,
Okay.
you know, so this is very important. The guys go out, they're working in 95-degree weather. You know, they come into the shop and they have no relief even at the shop, especially when they're doing paperwork in the office. So it's important to get it repaired or
And-
replaced, I'm sorry.
I got approached right before the meeting too we have a team that cleans the building, and boy, they are dying trying to get in there and clean in the heat. So I know they'd appreciate it.
Can you tell me what was the high bid and the low bid is 89?
High bid was 9,600, low bid was
100 apart or something?
8,900.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a pretty straightforward project, you know, to
Okay.
replace this.
Thank you, Derek.
All right, thank you. Any questions on the air conditioning unit for Derek or Kevin? All right, approval of air conditioning unit at the DPS building. Now, this is the one on Grow Road.
Correct.
DPS down the street here on Grow Road. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Okay, motion carried. Thank you. Number 4, contract change order bike path. I'll read that. Jameson, I think Jameson would have had this one. Based upon a recommendation from the Bicycle Pedestrian Pathways Committee, the Groseal Township Board authorizes a change order of Elba Island roadway contract with Al's Asphalt to include the resurfacing of approximately 51,700 square feet of pathway at a cost of $232,741.
Second?
Thank you. BPAC has budgeted $346,000 plus in funds for 25-26 for the resurfacing of pathway. The South Point Grow Road section of the pathway is placed under priority due to its condition. A proposal was solicited from Al's, whom currently has a contract with the township competitively bid for other mill and resurface work on Elba Island. This means and methods were developed between the township's engineer and the contractor together. Work would be coordinated with Elba Island paving project. Utilizing the contractor under contract with the township takes advantage of aggressive pricing provided under the low bid. And also, I was at the meeting where they did this, just so you know, they're already gonna be out here, they have the equipment out here, they added to this. There's a question of the condition of this bike path, it's really in poor condition. So this is why they got the bid, this was the change order to, Derek, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's piggybacking on the work they're already doing on Elba Island, they're already here,
That's correct, yes.
which will help out. So
Yep.
anything else that you'd like to add?
I believe the clerk had sent an email to the board prior to the meeting, just advocating for the project. I don't know if you've had the opportunity to review that or not, and I'm not sure whether he wants it read into the record or not.
I don't have it.
I can.
I have it. Did you think you wanted it read
I
in?
thought so.
Okay. You want me to
Or maybe
read it?
not. Maybe it was just to indicate his.
And you might be
support.
right. Do you want me to read it, or do you want to just read it?
Margaret, why don't you read it, and
Yeah.
it'll go into the record then, is that all right?
I hope you'll support action item number 4. It is a change request to the Al's Asphalt project that will resurface the bike path from the southwest end of the island all the way down to Grow Road to the new portion near the Alpaca Farm. This project will repair what is arguably one of the worst sections of trail and the section that has received the most public concern. Many sections of our trail will require full depth repairs in the coming years and decades. This section will as well eventually, but this partial depth repair will make a significant improvement to this section and extend its life while we are a community decide how we want to and to what level we want to fund further more significant efforts. This is a budgeted expense, which was unanimously supported by BPAC after healthy and vigorous debate. It is, in my opinion, I'm paraphrasing because I think it's a typo, but the most good we can do with the worst part of the trail with the least amount of taxpayer dollars. Jamison Yeager.
Okay. Any questions or concerns for Derek on this issue?
So what percentage of the, Derek, what percentage of the bike path is going to be repaved?
I couldn't tell you off the top of my head what percentage.
It's not 100%.
Oh, no.
No,
Of the bike path island-wide?
Yes.
Oh, no.
No, the
no.
stretch of path that they'll be addressing under this would be from, I believe it's South Point and Boucher to the intersection of South Point and Grow, and then down Grow Road from South Point to approximately where the Alpaca Farm is, so
Okay.
that full stretch there.
And,
Almost East River.
and how long, do you know how long the asphalt that is there has lasted?
I don't, probably, if I had to guess, 15 years or so, maybe a little bit more.
Okay.
And what the proposed scope of work is actually a capping. So they would basically put down tack and then lay down an additional 1.5 inches of material over the top of what's already existing that's there.
Are you showing what's in the packet, Derek?
Yeah, yep.
So the reason I'm asking these questions is, and I've mentioned this to you, there is something called polymerized asphalt, and we've talked about it just a little bit. Polymerized asphalt can last almost twice as long as regular asphalt. And in this situation where the township is paying for this, I would like to suggest that we find out what the cost for polymerized asphalt would be, and what my understanding is that in some cases the asphalt lasts twice, the lifespan is twice what other asphalt is. I would like that to be considered for this job if it's not too late to do that. And I would like it to be considered going forward where we are paying for it out of taxpayer dollars. If we can get twice the life out of the asphalt, that would be a significant savings over the years. So, thank you.
Sure, just a couple of things. When the township is doing paving work on Wayne County roads, we are required by the county to follow their guidelines as far as the material goes. So we would have to ask their permission if we were to deviate from what they call the Wayne County HMA mix, which we're going to be using on Elba. When it comes to bike paths like this that are our responsibility and ownership, we can use whatever material we want. So that's a very valid point. You know, if there is a better product where we're not constrained by a Wayne County standard, obviously that's something that we, you know, can apply on the things that we own.
I think it's worth looking into it would be an extra expense, but the cost, some states have made the decision on their highways, superhighways. Ohio, I believe, does it for many of their highways, where they used polymerized product that is longer lasting, and the cost of putting it down is really, that is the major cost, and you don't have to do that as often. So, and considering, I understand what you're saying about what you have to do with the Michigan, but maybe we can use this as a test to show Wayne County that that this would possibly be better for the community. The other issue is I'm seeing vehicles on the bike path, that's an issue as far as the depth of the asphalt, that sort of thing. I'm sure that's all been considered, but.
Yeah, the fortunate part is most of our bike path is right around 5 inches, so that is a decent depth. We actually would be adding, so you'd have 6.5 in these areas. What I could do is talk to the engineer and also the contractor, and then see if the polymer is actually an option, and then, you know, if this is approved this evening, come back to you, hopefully before the work would be done, and see if there's any appetite for the
I understand this is a last minute thing, but going forward, you know, maybe somebody would be willing to give us some kind of grant or something to test this out. So it may not work in this situation, but if it does going forward and we're not doing the whole island, might be worth looking at. So thank you.
Welcome.
Eric, I'd like to add just one quick thought that's akin to what he's saying. Years ago, I remember reading an article about how Germany was building highways, cement, and I think it was fiberglass filaments were being put into the mix. And you paid like 15 or 20% more for the ingredients, but it was something like triple the life of this. It was a huge difference in the life expectancy of the pavement. It's a concept similar to what I hear going on here with the asphalt. I just wanted to talk it out that you can do the same thing sort of for cement.
Yeah, everybody's always looking to build a better, stronger road, and, you know, concrete's been around forever, and they're still trying to figure out the best way to do it. So, you know, with all the issues with, you know, additives and things of that sort, and new technology, it's always an evolving, you know, process to try to figure out what exactly the best road is, right? So.
Thank you. Thanks, Derek. Okay, are we, any other comments, concerns? Okay, with none, action item number 4, contract change order for the bike path. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, motion passed. Number 5, master plan. I will also pull that one up. Had a question. When we wrote this up, there was 2 separate issues on here. Do I read both then?
Whichever you want to propose, whatever the motion maker wants.
Okay, let's just, because we can always vote on it from there. The Groseal Township Board hereby approves the 2025 master plan as proposed by the Planning Commission. Do I have a second for that?
I'll
Second.
second.
Okay. All right, what I'd like to do is, just state a couple of things. And then, actually, I know this is probably not usual, but I'm gonna have a couple of questions for you, since you kind of were taking the charge, of this, so, I know it's kind of, it's not out of bounds, but it's not actually, normal that we have people from the audience come up, but I'd like you to come up. What I heard in a lot of the emails, and when I spoke to you about this, if the vote is yes tonight to pass this, that we have a plan to go back. There is a plan to go back. I did not receive anything, any proposals from the board to send back to the planning commission. So, why don't we do this? Would you like to come up first? This is Ross, the head of the community development. So, Ross, I guess what I'm looking at is, first off, nothing was sent to me. If we vote no tonight on this, then we only by statute can do two things. You can either vote yes or vote no with proposals, changes, or let's just call them suggestions for layman's term.
Right.
Are you in agreement with that?
Yes.
Okay. So I don't have anything there. I just want to know the process because of what I heard on what Elena when she gave us the emails from the people. A lot of them were interested in making sure that if we vote yes tonight, that there is a forum, if there is a way to go back. And I know that some of the issues that we talked about, I'm actually in agreement with, that we talk about this. So can you just explain, so I'm positive, 100% sure, that there is some type of review or yearly
Right. Yep.
meeting?
Yep. So, best practice is to annually review it between the Township Board and Planning Commission. Once we adopt, if we were to adopt today or at the next meeting, what have you, it would be every year from that point. The Township Board and the Planning Commission would get together to review it to see if it's still relevant, if there's any amendments that you'd like to see. But that goes without saying that at any point, if you feel that there's a significant change in the community, you can direct the Planning Commission to make a minor or major amendment. A minor amendment is I think it's a 42-day review period with public hearings, that sort of thing. Whereas a major amendment would be a 65-day review period.
So you're saying if, let's just say, I'm just going to name something, it may not even be a real zoning issue.
Right.
That I feel, and we feel as a township board, that all the businesses should be painted red.
Right.
Okay, like whatever. And so we can come back now and we can have a public hearing with the people to get their input.
Yep.
And then we get to the board and then we can,
Direct Planning Commission to make an amendment.
that's the word I'm looking for. So actually direct
Yes.
the planning commission to make that change after the public hearing and after we vote on it, though.
Correct.
We must have a vote, though,
Correct.
and then go back. So I want to make sure that there is a forum to change some of these things, because the problem that I have, and look, I'm not going to knock anybody that's for or against this, but I don't have any proposals in front of me to be sent back tonight to the planning commission. Okay, I'm letting you know that. I'm being honest with you and straight. I have none in front of me from any of the changes. So I want to hear from the board if they have any questions for you. And I may have something, Kyle, I'm sorry, you're going to stick around obviously for a little bit. I may have something for you at the end.
Can I just,
You can say whatever you like, sir.
Yeah, right. There's just to address some public comments about typos and history changes. Those have been edited. So you can make corrections in the plan without having to go through an entire amendment process.
Okay.
So the typos and the history have been changed and updated. So I just wanted to put that out there.
That's already been done.
That's
Thank
already
you.
been done. Yep.
Okay. Anybody from the board? Oh, hold on.
Oh, sorry.
Don't be leaving yet.
Okay, I was just
That's
going
why
right
you-
there. I wasn't leaving far.
That's why you make the big bucks. So
Right.
who wants to go first with this young man?
In what way?
You saying what way?
To ask questions?
Yeah, if you have anything.
Questions and comments.
Okay, the way you said that, I wasn't.
Yeah,
sure.
no, if you have anything for him on the master plan pro or con or a question for him, or you have a comment of what you feel, now's the time. Go ahead, sir.
As I understood the discourse between you two, you and Joe, there's a relatively simple way to file a request for a change, either major or minor. And that's already in this plan right now. In other words, if we say, let's take and just send this thing and approve it, we've got a system that's relatively simple for anybody who has a concern that he cares that much about. He can energize within the statute, the
Right.
proper way. That's what I thought before. I just wanted something affirmed.
Yep. Yep.
That's it.
I'm gonna have some comments, but you know what, while Joe's out, Kevin or Margaret, if you wanna go ahead.
I'm the same thing. I have comments. I guess I'll start with, after listening to the comments that came through, I just want to say, for myself, I am someone who paid attention to the master plan from the beginning. I attended meetings, I attended the roundtable discussions, I supported, provided input into the surveys. I personally have done a lot of due diligence in reviewing the content of the plan. I've also spoken with several planning commission members. I've spoken with Kyle and listened to his concerns. I tried to make sure that I looked at everything as holistically as possible. I looked at various points of view. One comment I just want to point out that I heard too, which was just so far off base. Somebody had commented that open space was going to be modified based on the requirements of the master plan. Let me be really clear. That's not the case. That's not even feasible nor possible. Everybody needs to really understand that open space, it's voted on by taxpayers with a specific purpose. That language is outlined in the millage that you vote for, so that cannot change. The master plan is not trying to, minimize or modify open space. Just as another point, I know I'm a little off track from where I started. But that's just some of the misinformation I was just a little bit shocked by. Now, there's always going to be different points of view. That's not necessarily misinformation, that's differing points of view. But one thing, and I said this at as a recap from the last meeting, it's really, and I'm going to read this from what I recapped because I thought it was a good point of view. It's really important to remember that the master plan is a guiding document, not a binding one. It can evolve over time, and changes can be made as needed without major complications. That flexibility is built into the planning process. Is that an accurate statement, Ross?
Correct.
Thank you. So I know there are concerns, specialized concerns, with regard to the master plan. And I just want to say, the master plan isn't, and you can again correct me if I'm wrong, the intent of the master plan is not to provide specialized opportunities for specialized groups. It's meant to be an overall guide in a planning process. It's not meant to specifically do this one thing or specifically support this group because they want this or that group wants that. It's for the good of the township.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
So if I could go back in time, I would, and I was not on the board during this process, and it didn't matter to me. I participated anyway because I found it's something we all needed to participate in. That's how I felt about it. I think maybe there's ways we can do things that are a little more collaborative. Sometimes it's very hard, and I don't think people realize how difficult it is to get people to participate and to actually be part of the process because we're all busy. We all have different lives. I think you guys did a great job. You did things online when you could. You used like Zoom calls for certain roundtables. So I personally think you know, everybody tried. They tried to get as much input as they could. I understand that there's frustration or a feeling of frustration with the planning commission, that they didn't always listen. And again, everybody's gonna have a different personal point of view, but I'm gonna keep coming back to, this is not a binding document. This is a guide, and I appreciate all the work that's been done on it. So thank you.
Thank you.
Kevin, you're next.
Hello, Ross. Thank you for being here for the fifth time. Thank you for everything you have done with the master plan. I'd like to thank the Planning Commission and all of the people that worked diligently to put the master plan together. It appears to be a mammoth task, and thank you to everybody that has done that. I would like to pick out a specific issue and get your comments.
Okay.
So one of the issues that has been brought up is having single-family homes on Macomb Street. And the master plan, some people wanted to have single-family homes eliminated, that they were no longer permitted to be built, and some people wanted to keep that in. So my understanding is that it was left in that single-family homes still can be built on Macomb.
Isn't there, I'm not wanting to jump in, but isn't there a term, discourage?
Yep.
It was changed. There
Yeah,
was something-
so-
And I just read that with you, wasn't it, last week?
Right. So in the plan, it
I want to make
states
sure it's just right.
in the plan, it states that the existing land use on Macomb Street includes single-family homes. That because today there's single-family homes. In the action items, it states to actively or to discourage the development of single-family homes on Macomb Street.
That's part
So
of it.
we don't want to ban single-family homes on Macomb Street because then the existing single-family homes will become non-conforming. And if they would want to extend a deck, then they would have to go to the Zoning Board of Appeals to seek a variance. So what we're going to do when we get a consultant to update the zoning standards for Macomb Street is to look at methods to discourage single-family home development on Macomb, but not make them non-conforming. So whether that's requiring them to go through special land use or, having different requirements to make it more difficult.
Let me just clarify, Ross. So the master plan sets the idea, right?
Right.
It sets the priority. It sets the goal,
Right.
right? And then future actions are what puts that goal into effect. Like, the board, the planning commission would then take up the conversation about how do we do that? How do we change the zoning to keep that from occurring? That just lays the groundwork. There's subsequent action that puts that into effect. The master plan is not intended to actually do that, correct?
Right. There's no change. It doesn't change anything. And that just reminded me of somebody stated in a public comment. There will be a public participation, public hearing process where then public will be invited out with those zoning changes in the future. So,
Well, so thank you for all that information. So how long, so the process, if there were a group of people that said, we no longer want to support new single-family homes on Macomb Street, what would be the process to do that? And how long would it take?
it really depends.
I'm trying to
Right.
give people an example of
I'd
how
say-
this is a dynamic document.
Right.
And it does affect the way zoning is written, correct?
Right, correct.
Okay, so if people have a issue with something, what I'm trying to show is, here's the process if you have an issue.
Right. So then you would present it, you could present it to planning commission could consider it. A lot of discussion, a lot of meetings with planning commissioners. I'd say anywhere from 3 to 6 to 8, or maybe 3 to 6 months, or 2.5 years. Who knows?
So as quickly as,
3 months. If
And
there's
is-
like broad consensus, yes, of course, this is a fantastic idea. Through public notification, the requirements through state law,
Okay.
it could take about as early as 3 months.
Ross, but aren't you referring to an actual ordinance change then for rezoning? Is that what you're,
Not a rezoning. So a rezoning is rezoning a parcel of land, right?
Right.
So like, let's say API,
right?
Airport Inn.
Yeah.
If we wanted to rezone that, that's zone C1. If we wanted to rezone that to something else, a single family, that's a totally different process.
Okay.
But a zoning text amendment is a different process that takes a little bit less time, actually.
Very good, thank you. Okay.
Okay. So the process can, in other words, it can be done if, just that's as an example.
Yeah.
And then I think a number of people mentioned there were other issues. The Smith Group so my understanding is the Smith Group made similar recommendations to other communities. Is this kind of a generic template that they give to the community, or is it tailored specifically to Groseal?
Yep, it's tailored specifically to Groseal based off of community needs, existing conditions, trends within, forecasting data specifically to Groseal, and then the community, the surveys, the impacts to understand the needs of the community and how to address, address those needs.
So the parts of the community that have concerns that this does not address everything, there is still time, as this evolves, there will be opportunities, I believe you have said, there will be opportunities to address these issues again.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But this is not a final.
No. And even though this plan is for the next 20 years, there's a lot of times within 5 years, a lot of things change in 5 years, that you could go through a completely new master plan update and change the plan entirely. So
you, in other words, you're supposed to do it every, what?
5, 10, 20 years is typically.
So if we find that in a year from now, something isn't working, we can ask to, hopefully we don't find anything, or hopefully we work these issues out as we go.
Right.
But it is possible to keep helping this evolve.
100%.
As our needs
Yes.
become more evident.
Yep.
In our meeting, didn't you state, though, it's a yearly review?
Yep.
So it's not a 5, 10, 15, it's...
Right. So you do an annual review, but it's pretty common to see communities completely overhaul their master plan every 5, 10 to 15 or 20
Right.
years. So,
Yes, no, I understand that.
But, on an annual review, on an annual basis, it's best practice for the Township Board and the Planning Commission to meet to discuss.
If there's any minor changes, or when I say minor, not minor meaning they're not important.
Right.
Minor, a small amount of the master plan.
Right.
Correct?
Yeah, right.
Okay. All right, anybody, oh, I'm sorry, were you done? I'm sorry,
Just thank you very much for bringing this back to us. Thank you to the board for being willing to take more time. I think we've taken another month to go over this, to talk about it some more. And I appreciate all the effort that you have put in, Ross. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mickey, go ahead, yes.
Okay, so I want to start out by saying, I spoke with Kyle, and Kyle, I have a lot of respect for you, and so I really, as I was going through the master plan and all the supporting schedules, I kept all the issues that you had raised in mind. But I saw where, for that example on Macomb Street, where it did say to discourage the other types, I personally wouldn't want to say, single-family homes are prohibited, because then you're going to get into litigation, right? If somebody buys the property and they plan on building a house, then you're talking about taking away property rights. But I like the balance that you found. There was also talk about a couple people kind of going off and rewriting. I'm an ERISA attorney and I write plan documents all day long. So I'll listen to a client, but I have to go off and write that by myself. It is really, really hard to write a technical document like that when you're sitting up at a board and everybody's talking. Like, you need quiet time, you need to think about all the comments, you need to draft it, think about it, edit it some. So I don't think anything was hidden. I think they just did, what they did to have that time to quietly think and get it where it needed to be, and then it was voted on. So to me, that's normal. As far as this being a high-level document, we need to keep it high level. If you start getting granular, like one of the things I learned in law school is you don't use words like always or every time, because that's going to be litigation. And so we need to honor its purpose and keep it high level so we don't have an issue there. Things like senior housing and those things, it could be done under the way that it's drafted. Now, it's not going to ever happen automatically, because something like that, you have to look at, can our fire department support it? Can our police department support it? What's our infrastructure like? So I just think, the way that they did it, as I read through it and I spent time on it, I didn't see where any changes were needed. Now, once we live with this document for a year or two, hey, hindsight's everything, right? We may come across something and say, okay, let's get together and discuss, do we need to have it amended? But the way that it was done right now, I think a whole lot of effort was put into it, and I just don't think any changes are required at this time. Okay.
William, did you have something?
Yes, I'd like to, as I was listening to Mickey here for a moment, along with these other thoughts, but I like the fact that we repeated it time and again, this is a guide.
Yeah.
When I first talked to John Schweikert about this, it's a guide. It's a general concept that we have to use our creativity to make the project at hand and the circumstance at hand work, you see? And I think that we need to emphasize that, because this concern is we're building a pyramid and we can't change a stone in it because it's all cast in place. Isn't so. I mean, we have the ability to make that change if we follow the procedures. The procedures have to be there so we understand how to act, and they have to be there so that we treat everybody fairly. And I think that our community needs to hear that again, so that they're comfortable in the fact that this document works, but they're going to have to put their thinking caps on to meet the procedures for whatever the project might be. There'll be a lot of work for project one and a lot of work for two. It's just it. I just wanted to put a marker of that thought in this before we vote.
All right, thank you, William. Kyle, what I'm going to say is, and again, this is probably not the norm, but I think it's a compliment to you. You've done a lot of work on this, and I'm going to be contacting you. I think there's some needs that we need to talk about, certain issues, but actually specify them. We need certain things to be looked at, to talk about, but as you can see tonight, yes, I will vote yes on this tonight. But there is a need to look at things specifically, not generically, and not as just a suggestion, to see if we actually need to move forward to make any changes on the master plan. And I'm not saying it, Mickey, you bring up a very good point. There's 7 of us on the board usually, and sometimes it gets convoluted, and sometimes it gets, I really don't know what the right term is I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but I'm on this board, and sometimes when we get together, you have seven opinions, and you have 8, 9 opinions, 10. So there's things that need to be separated, sat down with, and actually dealt with and move forward. And that's, as you can see, that's unfortunate. That's the way I sometimes run a meeting, where we got to get this done because we have so much else coming on our plate, and you've got to keep doing it that way. So I just appreciate what you've done. And Kyle, I'm going to be contacting you. I know maybe it's not going the way you thought it would go tonight. I get that. And I get some of the emails that Elena read. I have respect for all those people and their opinions. And I think we can do something about this. But and this is a knock to any process that we've done. But this has been going on for a long time. And I didn't see it moving. I didn't see it moving at all. So the vote tonight, I'm hoping it'll make it move, and then it will force us to look at some of these things closer and looking at them in a specific group, dissecting each of it, and moving forward with maybe some type of answer that is better for Grosse Ile. And that's nothing against the planning commission. They worked for 2.5 years on it. Well, how long?
Yeah.
Am I close?
Yeah.
It's about 2.5 years, and they've worked a lot. I mean, they've, and I went to, I didn't go to all of them, but I went to the study sessions and with the groups that they had. So, and I know I'm kind of going a little further than I should be into this, but this is the only way that we can get things done sometimes, and I'm going to use this route tonight. So, do you have anything?
No.
Anybody else from the board have anything? Margaret, you good?
I'm good.
Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to, action item number 5. Elena, what I'm going to do, again, I'm not asking for roll call, but just so you can hear it better and I hear it better, I'm just going to go separately. For action item number 5,
Could we have a roll call, please?
oh yeah, that's fine.
Thank you.
You want it on record? We'll have a roll call.
Thank you.
A master plan, number 5, all in favor, say aye. So we'll start, Margaret.
Aye.
Kevin.
Aye.
Joe, aye.
Aye.
Miss, oh, good one, you beat me.
Aye.
William. You guys are faster than me, thank you. Okay, so, I guess that was easier than I thought, Elena, I'm sorry. So we got it. Okay, we have a discussion item, the cell tower proposals. Derek, would you like to start that?
Sure. This item was tabled from the last meeting to give you a little bit more time to review the proposals that were forwarded to you. Yes, sir.
I'd like to run out and get them. I've got them in my truck. I wasn't sure they were going to be brought up tonight.
The proposals?
Yeah, I just think.
You can have my copies if you'd like. It's got a pretty
Need to
good.
run out.
Okay,
Let him just.
okay,
that's
go
all
ahead.
I can give you
We're
mine.
only discussing, there's no vote. We're
Oh,
only,
okay,
yeah, there's no
well,
vote tonight.
If we're
so-
just listening, I don't need it.
Yeah, we're just, that's all right, we're just,
Uh,
we're just listening. Sure.
Like I had mentioned, it was on the agenda for the last meeting. We tabled it to give you a little bit more time to review the proposals. The purpose of the conversation tonight is just to decide on a path forward. Normally, with these type of professional services, we've in the past used an interview process for the next step. If we can narrow down, the number or the consultants that we'd prefer to sit down with and go over their proposal, that would probably be an efficient way to do it. So upon your review, if you have 1 or 2 firms that pique your interest with regards to their proposal, or even 3 or 4, there's no limit on how many that we meet with. If that's the interest of the board, to sit down with them and to go through their proposals, that would be a logical next step. So with that, I'm curious to hear what your thoughts were about the proposals and if that's the step you would like to take moving forward.
I've read through them. I haven't let it saute for a long time. But I think that each of these, if you were a tailor and you looked at the structure of each one of these, they're a different suit that should cut for each one of them. And I'm not sure that all of them quite fit. The problem for me is that I need to think exactly what we need for what we want. And I need to do that before I decide where I'm going to make my choice. I feel like I've got to get my head set up a little better. I've never interviewed people like this for this purpose. The first question I've had in my mind is, how much money do these cell towers, we have 3 towers, right?
Yes, 3 towers, 2 behind public safety and 1 behind the post office. But there are multiple.
Not exactly a giant for some of these people, okay?
There are multiple carrier contracts on
Right.
each one of the towers, but.
How much money does the treasury of this township come to the rent of those towers?
I want to say
Come from the, I mean, do we get money?
hundreds of thousands of dollars, yes.
How many dollars?
Hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Per year?
Mhm.
Okay, this is bigger than I thought it might be. You're saying like it's like $300,000 we get on?
I'd have to get the exact numbers to you. I don't want to misquote.
The reason that question's important to me is that it seems to me that the way these guys regard us when they find out how big or small we are might decide who we need that best suits our size. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah. So there's a couple of different, from my understanding of the board's interest in going out for proposals, there was an interest in not only, having a consultant to assist us with lease negotiations, understanding the value of our assets and negotiating, the terms of agreements for those towers. But also there was some interest in having a consultant come on that has some expertise in the area of telecommunications in order to understand how best to leverage our assets, what the future, technology is going to do to impact the marketability of our assets, to not only provide the legal aspect, the legal services to negotiate these contracts, but also advise the township board on telecommunications in general and, the future of that as it relates to the assets that we have. So I think to help you out maybe with an understanding of what services we need, I think that was my understanding of what we were looking for. So I believe the first bid that we put together, the bid request we put together, was a little bit more heavy on the consulting side of things. If you recall, the proposals we got, they weren't exactly, I don't think, what we were looking for. So the board directed me to revise the proposals a little bit, which I did. And we ended up receiving in the second round maybe a little bit more focus on the legal aspect of things, although these companies still have some of the capabilities to be able to provide that additional level of service, I think, that you're looking for as far as information about the market and things of that sort. So the way I asked them to look at it was the core proposals, the legal services, and then the ancillary work would be this additional consulting.
I'd like to just ask you to expand on that legal side of it. I think you could say, you could make a list of 9 things that are concerns of a provider of a cell phone tower, but some are more essential than others. Us being small in this business, I think, this is not something that's as big as many of these things that are going on. One of them, for example, said they had a lot of experience in rooftop devices. I don't see us with that. We have 3 towers. We need something that fits us, and if our legal representation when we're dealing with AT&T or whoever is the big thing. Our focus needs to be there.
And I think that was the goal. We have general counsel for general, municipal law. We have labor counsel for, labor-related issues. We have different, legal counsel for different areas of expertise, right, which is not uncommon. The one area that we don't currently have is legal counsel for our telecommunications contracts. You got to understand what the market is. You got to understand what the value is. You got to understand how to negotiate with the AT&T and Verizon and DirecTV, because they have, obviously a specific type of asset that they're negotiating with us for. So to understand what that is, that's why, I think
they can look at our records and help us understand where we are and what we're worth and that sort of thing.
Yes, because they deal with that, right? That's their area of expertise. So
that's okay. I need to go back over these personally to get a more solid opinion on that. I needed that clarification. But
You set?
yeah, I was thinking, I'm going to let somebody else talk.
I just wanted to bring up one thing. I think that any time that we hire consultants, Derek, and to the board, I just believe that it would really be in our best interest if we interview them. I get that, not just, review, their packets, review what they have for us, but there's some things that come out in an interview that you can't read and that aren't brought out. So that's all I'm saying. I just would like to, I know it's one more step. I know everybody's got meetings, other meetings with their liaisons that they're on, but I just think it's very important if we're going to get somebody to look out for our best interests in any kind of consultant position, anything, doesn't matter what it is. I'd like to interview them. That's all. I'd like to speak to them. So anybody else have any questions for Derek on this or the direction then that we're going to go in?
So would you want to interview all, or do you want to kind of, whittle it down, or how would you? Because I'm not adverse to that. I think that's a good idea. I'm just curious about,
Depending on how many we get, say you get 10, we can't interview them all. We have to whittle them down. Let's just say
so we've got, what do we have, 4?
4 on here, on
Right.
this one.
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you meant in general, Margaret.
No, I'm sorry, just this one.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So this one, I know we have 4, I read. What's your pleasure of the board? Do you think 4 is too many? Going through them, they're all, I'm not gonna say they're close, but, they each provide close to the same service.
There was a substantial difference in the rate structure for a couple of them.
Right.
Almost double or triple.
That's
what I
why
think
I'm
the
just
low bidder
curious
was.
if you're,
Do we knock out the high?
I don't know if I'd do it that way, but I mean, there was one that was specifically, I thought, had a real high potential of meeting our needs, but, and then there's one that to me is completely off base. So if you wanted to pull in the other, the 2, or, just do it like we've done it before where we say, here's my top 3, if you will.
How do we narrow it down to 2 then to interview?
That's fine. If you want to have the board members submit the top 2, to you or something like that, and then we could schedule those interviews.
How about we do this? I think that's a valid way of doing it because it doesn't violate, I don't think, any of the, because we're not voting on anything. We're just narrowing down. Why don't all of you as board members review them again, or if you already reviewed them, that's fine if you're all done, and then send me the 2, and then we'll tally it up. We don't have to make a matrix with numbers, but we can just do it because it's not that many.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see who the top 2 are.
Can I make a,
Oh, go ahead, Kevin.
since this is a discussion item and not an action item, could we bring this back at the next meeting and hopefully there will be a full board available to add their comments, and everybody hopefully will have had an opportunity to review this, review the proposals, and
Do you mean bring them back, Kevin, not before the meeting, with your 2 individuals, and state when you come back to the meeting?
what
I'm
I'm,
not clear on what
what
you-
I'm suggesting is that we don't do anything at this meeting, take any action. We've had a discussion about it, make it an action item for the next meeting so the public is made aware of what we're thinking and what we're doing. The public is invited to come to the meeting and give their 2 cents worth, and then we can take the next steps as far as,
What will we be voting on the action item, though? I'm not clear.
well,
Just kind of explain what you're thinking, then.
what I'm thinking is we would have a full board. We would have 2 more members that can add their 2 cents worth to this discussion, and they will have the opportunity to review this. The community will have an opportunity to review this, and then we can talk about it in an open meeting.
Well, what would the action item be? What will we be voting on? The 2, because we haven't interviewed them yet. What will we be voting on?
We would be voting on narrowing it down. Or if you don't want to do an action item, have another discussion, but give the 2 folks that are not here the opportunity to speak about it.
I can kind of see a benefit in a process that has some of these components.
I think the
These
public
are-
should be given an opportunity to speak about it too, before we decide.
What's our timing on this?
I believe we have 1 expired contract right now, so, I mean, we need to get counsel in here to be able to negotiate that contract. I mean, it's been expired, I think, for a couple of months, so, I mean, it's not a huge pressing issue. What we could do is we could, submit that information to the supervisor and then put it on as an action item to select those 2 to interview and handle it that way. Would that be?
That makes sense.
Yeah, I just didn't know what we were voting on. That's all I'm
Well-
At
asking.
least then it would be, an action item, and there would be a proposed action you could all review, and then there'll be a vote to formalize who you're gonna interview.
So the vote would be to narrow it down to see who the 2 would interview? Is that correct?
I think we could write it up that way.
Okay, that's fine
I
with
need
me.
to
If
throw
that,
in,
if that meets the priority.
Well, that gives everybody time, and the new people, I'll talk to them anyway, the 2 that aren't here. I'm sorry, I said new people. The two, I apologize for that one. The two board members that aren't here, that gives them a chance to go over it. And then if anybody from the public has any comments or questions, they can always come in and do that. So, okay, then we'll do it as an
Just
action.
wait a minute. I know I might be giving you a hard time, but I'm supporting something you said earlier.
That's okay.
He was talking about the fact that when you see somebody speaking, as opposed to just reading it in the paper, you get to see something else. I think that's important. We learn, we get some information. We might even get some information about personalities that we think we could work with. With that in mind, you could argue, let's vote to have everybody come and speak, and we can learn from everything they have to say and better know our own circumstance and how to evaluate it. And I'm throwing that idea out with that in mind, is that we're not going to pay their gas to get here. They're going to come on their own. It just takes more of our time.
We could write up the action item so that it basically reads to interview X number of firms, and these are the firms you want to interview. And that way, that whole decision about how many you're interviewing, who you're interviewing, will be at the board meeting at an action item.
Yeah, then we
On an
can vote
action
on
item.
in front of everyone. That'd be great. So just come back the next meeting,
Now,
Bill.
does this, the thing that you're suggesting, Derek, give us opportunity to sit face to face with more people than two?
Absolutely, you could choose how many. If the motion was all four,
All right.
then that'll be
Okay.
the motion you'll vote on. If the
Yeah.
motion is for two, then that'll be the motion you'll
I
vote
got
on.
you now.
Okay,
We'll
so
leave it
next,
blank so you can select how many ever you want to do.
so everybody just go through your packets, figure out how many or who you'd like to interview. We'll vote on it next meeting at an action item. And that way, then we'll have an interview after that action item. So, but we got to get this one going also, just because we've got to get this individual, someone in. So, yeah, that would be fair.
May I?
Yep.
A number of these vendors that offer the service for the towers have websites that talk about what they do. And I think that if everybody has an opportunity to review the hard copies and the information online, might be helpful.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, let's do that then. We'll end the discussion item. We'll come up with a action item. Derek will work on that. And next meeting, what would that be? The 25th? That's off the top of my head. No,
Yeah, I think you're right.
that's just off the top of my head.
Yep.
Okay, we good? Lane, you got that? All right. We're good. All right. Jameson's not here tonight. Kevin, do you want to give your treasurer's report, please?
Let's see, the treasurer's report for June 11th, 2025. Investments for the month of July. Groseal Township had a total of $22,443,045.32 invested in various accounts. These accounts generated a total of $72,615.19 in investment interest, with an average rate of 3.08%. The July investment report can be viewed on the Treasurer's section of groseal.com. The Treasurer's office has been busy collecting summer tax payments. Summer 2025 property taxes are due September 15th, 2025. Extension of the summer tax due date is available for those who qualify. The deferment application must be submitted by September 15th. I'll read that again. The deferment application must be submitted by September 15th, 2025. Summer tax deferment applications are available at the Treasurer's office. Approved deferments will be extended, will extend the September 15th due date until February 14th of 2026. Today, we have collected about 16.2% of the 2025 summer tax roll. Distributions of the school and county taxes collected have been made in a timely manner. And to everybody out there that has paid their taxes, thank you very much.
All right, thank you, sir. Trustees reports then. Margaret, you are up.
Just want to remind everybody that the book drive that Dispatcher Erd is supporting is still going on. If you have any books for grade school level kids, please feel free to drop those off at the Public Safety Building. There is a box there specifically for that. It's a really great cause. So that would be greatly appreciated. The e-newsletter reminder to sign up. If you're interested in keeping up with the latest township information, this is your opportunity. We're going to do our best to make sure that this kicks off in September, and it's a quick and easy sign up on the township page. If anybody has any questions on that, you can feel free to email me and I can walk you through the process. Another thing, Jameson's not here tonight, so I'm sure he would have mentioned this, but I'm gonna point this out. Island Nights is coming up. It's the Dog Days of Summer. That's the theme, hosted by Chad and Wendy. It's this coming August 22nd, Friday, from 6 to 9. They'll have a pooch parade, live music, food, treats. The businesses on Macomb have been getting involved and participating. They'll have vendors. It was a lot of fun the last time, so I just want to make mention of it again so everybody's aware that this is the next one coming up. And that's it.
Thank you very much. William?
The Airport Commerce Park Commission, Janelle spent this past week in Chicago in a brownfield convention get-together gathering to enhance her skills and knowledge of brownfield issues. That, I think, is going to be good. The more skill we have, the better off we are. In terms of the Planning Commission, the thing they've been working on lately has been an intersection where an accident ended up taking place. It's sort of they call it a tri-view. It's like a T, and there was a blinding, an object that created a blocking of vision, and that led to someone on a bicycle not making it out of the deal. But we'll know more about that in the future as they work on it. That's it. That's my report.
All right, sir, thank you.
Yeah. We have a fire commission meeting this week, Thursday at 5 p.m. Chief Roscoe will be updating us, including on the recent house fire that they had. I asked him, was everybody safe? He said yes. Did the house, that part of it burn down? He said yes. I said, you are certainly different than Chief Camilleri. And he said, asked and answered, counselor. So hopefully he'll tell us more on Thursday. For open space, Derek, when I'm done, I'm going to ask you if you have the junk. Okay, cool. You always get that for me. Hey, on encroachment, we're making progress. We identified 5 pretty serious encroachments on open space. The one is going to be meeting with the landscaper and planting 12 trees. So I've asked for the landscape plan so we can see the types of trees and where they'll be located. Another one had an asphalt parking lot and some things parked there. They moved stuff out. They'll be working on cleaning that up. So part of what I'll be talking with the Open Space Commission is maybe we get in some kind of cadence to look at and check to protect the property, right, and look at different areas for encroachment. But I just want to let everybody know we are making progress on that. And then Derek, if you don't mind just letting them know the dump the junk.
Dump the junk is scheduled for Saturday, September 6th from 9 to 3. All of the materials that are eligible to drop off are listed on a flyer that's on our township website. So go to groseal.com and you can look at all the things that are acceptable to drop off on that day.
I'm glad we were able to get this one in. You never know with what we're doing with the bridges, so it's nice to have it.
Normally we do it in the spring, but with the bridge closure, we didn't want to bring a bunch of the, all those dumpsters across the toll bridge. So.
Right. Yep.
You good?
Yep.
Okay, Derek.
Just wanted to update the board on a couple of different things. The bids for the entrance audit and for the employee wage study, those were, I think, released beginning of last week. They're due the end of the month, so I think like the 28th or the 29th of August. So when we get those proposals, I'll bring them to the board, likely in September for your consideration and review. So I just wanted to update you on that. There is a DPS meeting tomorrow evening at 7 o'clock. And as far as DPS road work is concerned, the concrete work started about a week and a half ago. They're on Manchester right now. So as I think I've mentioned in previous meetings, if they're doing work in your neighborhood, you'll get notices on your door informing you of the work being done and what exactly the impact to you as a resident will be as far as access to your home and whatnot. The inaugural bridge meeting of the Bridge Commission will be August 20th, which is next Wednesday at 6 o'clock in this room. So for all those that are interested, feel free to attend or watch on TV. And last, I received a email from the Police Commission with regards to the position of chief. As we all know, Chief Carmack will be retiring at the end of the calendar year. So I'll be putting together that advertisement. Per our policy, they have made a recommendation to advertise internally. So that is where that publication will go and be offered to internal candidates first. So just want to let the board know that it'll probably be taking place this week. And we usually give like internal postings about a 30-day notice. So we'll keep you abreast of how that turns out, and we'll go from there. That concludes my report for this evening.
Thank you, sir. I just have a couple of things. Some were already mentioned, so this I'll be brief. The webcams are almost done on the bridge. We ran into an issue with DTE. It's always something. And it's just the electrical line that we had to put in with a pole. And pretty soon we'll have webcams. There'll be 4 of them from Bridge Road. Actually, it'll be part of Meridian Bridge Road up over the bridge to the toll plaza and then out to West Jefferson. So hopefully those will be up pretty soon. Derek mentioned about the Bridge Commission. I'm really looking forward to that. We'll be looking at all the aspects of our toll bridge now, the revenues and expenditures and what we need. And I think that it's really going to set us forth that we need right now. Obviously, everything, actually, the bridge has been running really smooth. If you look at it as a business, everything has been running very well. And I want to say one thing, our operations manager, and I want to thank Maureen. She has just done an excellent job. She's worked with Paul for 17 years. She is the operations manager, and I don't know what we've done without her. So I just want to say, Maureen, thank you very much for everything you've done, and it's made that it's made the business end of the bridge very smooth, very smooth. I know we've had some troubles with our web designers and some of the IT people that we had to contract, and I'm not an IT person, but I just know that there was glitches. They're fixed. We're moving forward. And I think that this Bridge Commission is really going to help us out. So, also, I want to let you know, I had a meeting with BPAC a few weeks ago, and I've asked them to take on a task to get the ordinances for the other cities that they have for the e-bikes and scooters. Now, there's been more complaints to the police department. It's a beautiful thing, get your kid a scooter or an e-bike that they can go out and get out of the house and go see their friends, and I think that's great. But the parents, you're going to have to not just explain to them, what they have. It's how they do it. You're going to have to learn the rules. We're going to put them on the website. I hate to say it, but there's going to be some ordinances that might enjoin them from being in certain places. So we have to look to see what other cities have. But I've got to keep the people safe on the bike path. And if you talk to Chief Carmack, there has been an incredible number of complaints coming to the police department on how these vehicles are driven and rode. Not so much that you have them, it's just how you're driving it. So please, parents, it's for their safety. It's for someone's life. And just like it's like a motorcycle that even in those accidents, doesn't matter who's at fault. the e-bike or the scooter is always going to lose. I mean, doesn't matter if they're not at fault. So I just want, your kids safe. I want everybody safe. I want the people that walk on the bike path safe. I want the drivers on the road safe. So just please keep in mind, if you're going to get, this Christmas, I'm sure there's going to be a lot purchased. But please explain to them the rules of the road. There are rules. You can't just ride them any way you want, on any side of the road you want. They have to be driven like a moped or a motorcycle. So just keep that in mind. I'm not trying to offend anyone out there, but the complaints that we have been getting, and I have personally been getting in my office and emails, and Doug Carmack has told me that he's been getting, they've been inundated at the police department with complaints, and that's why I felt, we have to do something. I'm not trying to take away anybody's fun, but once we get these ordinances, we'll look at them. The township board will then review and see if what they, BPAC wants to put in an ordinance and what these bikes or these scooters are enjoined from, or who, age-wise, I'm saying, to be on them.
Can I disclose? I have two.
You're done. Okay, well, you better learn how to ride, okay?
I'm
All right.
actually pretty careful on them, but.
All right, that is it for me tonight on this.
Joe, can I ask a question?
You certainly may.
What's the age that kids have to wear the helmet?
Up to the age, I believe, I've got it right here, as a matter of fact, on my phone, up to the age of 19, I believe, there's a certain age, I don't know, I may
Well, I
be
mean,
incorrect.
if they're on a
Yeah.
bicycle or a electric,
No, like a moped or an
Right.
e-bike, you have to have it on, not on a bicycle. But,
kids don't have to
no,
have
the age is totally different.
Okay,
And there's different e-bike classifications. There's 1, 2, and 3. There's different speeds for each. But I can show you to you. I have it on my phone right here of the ordinances from the state. But
I see a lot of kids riding those
everybody
without
should
helmets.
have a helmet on a bike. I don't care how old you are, and everybody on an e-bike should have a helmet. And you see like adults on mopeds with no helmets. Because over the age of, I believe it's 18, it might be 17, I'll look. But you don't have to have a helmet after a certain age. But even the adults, I mean, our balance is worse than the kids. So everybody should have a bike. I mean, a bike. Everybody should have a helmet on the bike. You have a bike too, that'd be great. So, okay, we still have a public comment. That's it for me. Kyle, did you have something? Come on up, sir.
Kyle DeBose at 21719 West River. Thank you all. I knew that's how the vote would go tonight, so I felt I owed it to the 300 folks that signed to still make my case. So thanks for hearing me out and being willing to listen. I do want to be clear, there are good things in the master plan that I'm looking forward to see implemented, things that I tried to push for and that are in there. Looking at R1E and getting rid of R1E, I think is in there pretty prominently. Accessory dwelling units play pretty prominently in the master plan. Those are things I like. I think I'm not an expert like Ross is or anything like that, but I have been talking to people about this for a really long time. It's a hard thing to get people passionate about. But part of why I'm passionate about it is because I realize just how important it is for the longevity of our community that we get this right. And there's just small, even when I was the liaison to the Planning Commission, there was things that I missed, I missed a housing needs assessment, a meeting where that got excluded, where that needed to be re-included. To the Planning Commission's credit, that did get re-included when I brought it up in one of their meetings. But yeah, just like for tonight, they said the history was corrected. I looked at it with Ross. Actually, it's not corrected yet, so he's going to send that. There's just things like that are coming up all the time, and I'm happy to be a partner in that in whatever way that I can be. I like to hear that you guys are going to look at it once a year. I don't think that was the practice before, but that you all are willing to do that. That is important to me, and I'll definitely be here a year from now saying these are things we need to look at. But the next thing you all are going to face is Macomb Street. I hope. That is the goal here. And a lot of the things that were excluded included Macomb Street, and I did want to just talk really quickly about that. I think some folks were talking about outlawing single family. We can't do that. The township just can't do that.
No.
What it is making them non-conforming. So that means people that have single family homes right now would be able to keep them as long as they maintain them as is. If they want to add on to it or something, that's a different thing. But most people don't do that. They just keep their homes, maintain them. People are allowed to do that. The issue is moving forward. Do you want commercial buildings to be torn down and turned into single-family homes, which has been happening on Macomb Street. Even the Planning Commission didn't know that, I think, when they took that provision out. And that's what I think you do need to discourage. You know, there's two words in the master plan right now. Some say encourage, some say discourage. So I think there does need to be some clarity around that, and you all will get that opportunity with the Macomb Street rezoning. And I will just say one more thing. When I was on the Planning Commission, it's very common with these sorts of things. They say, not in my backyard, you know? So when people get a notice that something's happening, a lot of the folks that show up are obviously the angry folks that want to say no. Macomb Street was one of the few places where people would show up to the Planning Commission and say, do more, invest more. Macomb Street is not doing well. We need you to do more. And so I'll try to find the actual meeting where that happened, because it was incredible to me. Like, usually you go to a meeting and you get the angry folks, but people showed up being like, yes, do this and more, you know? So I will show that meeting to you all when that happened. And more importantly, a lot of the misconception that I saw with the Planning Commission was around this by right stuff. So they said, I don't want by right. I want to be able to see what happens. And again, by right doesn't mean that there won't be an overview of or a way to influence what happens on Macomb Street. It just says these are the sorts of things we want to encourage. If you want to encourage more cafes or whatever it is, like, that's something that I think you need to put out there and say, this is what you're allowed to do without having to go through a whole bunch of other hoops to get these things done. Because that is one thing that I think is clear to everyone that at least on my side has been this. Macomb Street is not doing well, you know, and we need to do more to invest in it, to make it a lively place that we all want to go to and exist through in the future. So that's the next thing you all are going to be facing. I'm happy to finally give you all a break on this stuff for a little bit. I'm happy to take a break on it and be back with my family instead of at these meetings. But again, just thank you all for what you've done, the way you've taken it in. I've felt heard by you all, and I will communicate to everyone that signed that petition that I've felt heard by you all. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Kyle, hold up before you sit down.
Sure.
I just want to say I've got great respect for you, and this is no disrespect to who I'm sitting with right now, but I miss you sitting next to me up here, you know, and we will be talking. I promise you that. I do promise you that.
I appreciate
okay?
it. Thank you, Joe.
All right. So.
Appreciate you all. Good to see you.
Thank you.
I had, I don't know who direct the question to, but
Go ahead.
the Jewish Head Start property is for sale, I understand. I was told that by a taxpayer. Is there any status on that litigation?
We have a court mandated settlement conference, I believe next week or the week after that. There are still dismissal arguments that the judge has yet to hear. I believe those are scheduled to be reviewed in September or so. I had a settlement meeting with our attorney and the insurance company last week, which is in preparation of that settlement conference, to discuss that upcoming conference. But that settlement conference was mandated by the court, so that wasn't something that we chose to have. The judge would like to see us get together to try to figure things out. That doesn't mean that the township or the insurance company is interested in settling. It's just something that was required by the court. So that's kind of where we're at. There's just the pending issues of dismissal to be considered by the court, which is supposed to happen, I believe, in September. So.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right. Need a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Somebody second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right. Thank you. It's 9:13.